different one for you. I'm going to try to teach you how to flat 360. I thought it was a good idea because I'm kind of in the process of relearning all my tricks. Flat 360 takes a lot of knee motions. So like I kind of left it a little while. I've been riding for a little bit, so getting the flat 3 was like a little bit of a challenge for me. So I thought, while I'm learning at the end of my road, I'll take you along for the ride. So yeah, super sunny out. Here we are. There's the view. So you probably can't even see what's going on. First thing you want to do, get your 180s down. That's the main thing. If you get your 180s down, you can literally do anything you want. Basic of BMX, basic of doing everything else in BMX. So once you get the 180, I would say get them perfect. I wouldn't even say you need to like fake you out. Maybe just get the 180, maybe get the 180 where you can spin a little bit more, and then go from there. So here's a few 180s to like show you what I mean. Maybe get them kind of like this. Second, you probably want to learn how, this is what I do. A lot of people when I was starting were kind of like, you got to learn it out of a bank or like a quarter. I would say yeah, maybe if you've got a bank or a quarter near you. A lot of people don't have that near them, so just kind of going from like bank to quarter, it makes kind of like no sense. Like you got your ground outside your house, you can go anywhere, try to learn this, don't let them stop you from doing it. So I personally learned flat 360s before I learned them out of banks and stuff, which is kind of weird, but that's what I did. A lot of people tell me go to a bank, learn them. I was like, didn't have one near me. I did have one near me, but I would like kind of like get to the point where I was like 180ing a little bit more than usual, kind of like maybe like a 200, I'd say. And then I like to learn the motion of a 3. I'd say overcarve the shit out of it. So here's a few examples of what I mean. You kind of want to like overcarve, so like carve more than 90. It won't, like this doesn't count by any means. Like this is not counted as a flat 3, but like overcarve and kind of land 360, like going straight, just so you get the idea of like going from like straight and then landing back straight. So like I'd say overcarve the shit out of it, land so where you're going like straight again, and then over time you can kind of just like put more force in and do less carve, more spin, less carve, more spin. That's basically what I did. I kind of just like overcarved for ages. You might get it made fun of a little bit for, but like just overcarve the shit out of it. One thing I noticed that this does kind of mess you up on is that you'll probably start over rotating your 360s, and what I mean is when like you start doing down steps and stuff later on, you kind of get a bad habit of like 360 and then like landing like 380. I've done it so many times where I like 360 down a set of stairs and just landed like over rotated and fell. Here's a few examples of that, or one, if like depends what I can find. I did one, my biggest stair set I've ever done was Macba, and I over rotated the shit out of it because I'm so used to like over carving it and 3ing and then landing like a bit over rotated on flat ground, just because it gives you a little bit more steez. That's why I do it. By no means do I have like the nicest 360s, but I think me relearning them kind of helps. So another thing I'd say is when you're doing the overcarve, maybe if you have a cassette, a lot of people don't have cassettes anymore, so it's kind of like pointless for me to say this, but if you have a cassette, maybe try 360 tire taps. The problem with 360 tire taps is though, you'll get so used to landing back wheel heavy and like landing like 270 and then carving the rest, that it will kind of like ruin your flat 3s. Like I have a friend who like forever couldn't flat 360 because he was so used to doing 3 taps where he'd like 270 and then spin it with his cranks and the rest of the way, and that doesn't look nice, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. So I would say maybe do a few 3 taps just to kind of give you the idea, and then go to the carve thing. The carve is what I would recommend most. Right, after you kind of got your carves and like your over carving 3s, what you want to do next is actually send the full 3. It's a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie, but once you go for it, you'll land pretty close to it, I would imagine. And one of the main things you want to do is it's all pull, carve and spin at the same time. So what you want to do is kind of carve a little bit, pull, and then just keep your head completely locked to the left, and like never let your head move away from your left shoulder or whatever way you spin. So if you spin to the right, keep your head turned to the right hand side the whole way. Don't let up and like bring your head back straight, because if you do that you will probably land 270 and that's when you get hurt. So carve, spin, lock your neck. What I would do at the start was when I was a little bit weaker, I would like carve, spin, and I would like jerk my neck and kind of like go left as if I was doing like a flare or something. Not a flare, but you know what I mean. So you kind of like, we call it the gooseneck. So you kind of carve to the left, spin, and then jerk your neck and your shoulder to the left. And what that will do is it will kind of like give you a bit of a snap in the 3, so you're not just kind of slow spinning the 360. So when you're like snapping the 3 around and then you kind of keep your head turned, you're not going to do a flat 540, so you're going to land in a 360 most likely. So if you keep your head turned, snap the carve, snap the hop, you most likely will land a 3 or close enough to it, and that will give you the general idea of how to do it. Some problems people have is when they do the gooseneck and the snap, they don't have enough strength to kind of like get the back end up. And what I would say was, one tip that really helped me was kind of like snap your neck, lift up, carve, and then kind of like look below your left shoulder or your right shoulder, whatever way you're spinning. So like if you're kind of like going for the left, so I'm right foot forward, so I spin to the left, so I'll kind of like look to the left and over my left shoulder if I'm trying to like look at my ass or something. That kind of gets you in the 360 before your bike does a 360. So wherever your head goes, the bike will follow. So always just keep your head turned and just get to that position. A lot of people tap their back wheel, so that's what I was saying. So like keep your head down, your head to the left, and snap, and then just suck up your knees. It's a lot of like knee, like the knees do help the most, because like you're sucking up the back end. So if you want to get like steezy 3s or like dip them, you kind of want to like suck up your knees first before you even spin, and then when you suck up the knees first, that will cause your front end to drop. So what I would say was, if you're just kind of trying to do the normal 3s, not onto the nosedive ones yet, just kind of jerk it lol, just kind of like carve, spin, drop your shoulder, and then just keep your head turned, and then suck up your knees. It's all one kind of like convoluted motion, but once you get the idea and kind of have a few goes at it, it'll definitely start working for you. You'll definitely like tap a few where you'll get like 270 and get to like the front, but most likely if you put enough effort in and you have the strength for it, a lot of people just don't have the strength for it yet, and that's just kind of like, you're gonna have to wait, you know what I mean? Like if you're like 5'2" and you like can barely lift your bike up and you can barely 180, there's no way you're going to be able to do a flat 360. It just doesn't really work. You kind of need to wait for your strength to get up a little bit. So what I recommend was pull, spin, carve, head down, or head to the left, head over the shoulder, suck up your knees, and that's all it is to it. You kind of just need to keep going at it and keep giving it more carve and pull every time you do it, and then over time eventually you'll be able to do them like nothing. It'll be like a simple trick to you. Another trick, if you can't get it flat, maybe try it off a curb a few times. I didn't do any off a curb because I only had my road to work with, so I kind of just go off a curb sideways maybe, and that'll kind of give you the motion. I did do that at the start a little bit, where I would like carve, so like I'd be parallel with the curb and I'd go off the curb to the left, so I kind of like do a 3, but it wasn't really a 3, you know what I mean, because you're going off sideways and landing straight ahead, so it never really counted, but it did give me the idea of like doing a 360. Once you do a flat 3, you can do it off anything, you can add to anything, feeble 3s, fucking, you know, 3 off ledges, 3 down steps, flat 3s in the middle lines, you name it. It's a pretty stable trick of BMX, literally one of the main tricks everyone does. Don't worry if you can't get it, it's just practice, everything's practice. Keep at it, keep spinning, keep carving, keep your head turned, you'll get it. Go out, try it, let me know what you did. Maybe tag me on Instagram if you got a few and this helped you out. But yeah, go try it, appreciate it, like the video, subscribe. See you guys next time, peace.